Why Kevin Durant may be using burner accounts on Twitter. Uh-oh, KD is back to using burner accounts on Twitter again. At least that's what it looks like, as fans have dissected in a recent back and forth on Twitter between Durant's verified account and some random user. On the surface, it seems to be a normal Twitter exchange, with Durant responding to the question, "When'd your prime start?" Durant answered with a witty response of the date of his birth. Nothing crazy here, right? Well, here's the interesting part. The account that tweeted at Durant has 0 followers and has never tweeted a single tweet before that. And Durant somehow picks this one out of the thousands of random mentions he gets and decides to respond? Sounds pretty sketchy. These accusations can't be completely disregarded either, as the history between Durant and burner accounts on Twitter is well documented, and it confirms that yes, indeed, Durant has 100% used these types of accounts in the past. Remember back to 2017, months after his time in OKC had ended, Durant got caught tweeting out messages that were meant to be sent out from one of his burner accounts. Durant exposed himself, revealing that he had at least one account that he would use to indirectly talk himself up. How do we know this? Well, he simply forgot to switch over to the burner, and he put out numerous messages speaking about himself in third person and sharing opinions that he would obviously never want to speak out as himself. For example, he called out the entire OKC Thunder roster during his time in OKC, besides Russell Westbrook, putting them on blast and saying that KD couldn't win a championship with those cats. Durant even ripped into his coach in OKC, Billy Donovan, tweeting from his main account that he, Durant, didn't like the organization or playing for Billy Donovan. His roster wasn't that good, it was just him and Russ. I mean, come on, KD! Not one but 2 hilarious tweets from the wrong account, while also exposing yourself for using burners at the same time? You gotta admit, that's pretty funny. While he can come off as an individual who is immune to the hate and criticism of his game, it's become very clear that KD does actually care about how he is viewed by fans online. So much so that he would go as far as creating anonymous accounts and tweeting positive things about himself to other users. To be fair to KD, while it is embarrassing, these types of burner accounts appear to be one harmless way that he is able to cope with his frustrations and get his side of the story out there. In the first burner account instance, KD was very frustrated with his time in OKC and the lack of support that was given to him by the organization. KD, who wanted to bring a title to OKC, felt that he did all that he could to achieve that goal, and that the organization as a whole was not doing their part to put the team in the best position to win. Are we seeing a possible reemergence of the KD burner accounts because of the frustration that is brewing in Brooklyn between himself and the Nets? Interestingly enough, when you compare Durant's situation back in OKC and the one he is in now in Brooklyn, there are surprisingly a lot of similarities. Let's first break down the coaching problems in both situations. After all, it is no secret that Durant is not crazy about playing for the Nets coach, Steve Nash, whose inexperienced at this time in his career could be compared to the lack of experience that Billy Donovan had during his time coaching Durant. Durant spoke about not trusting Nash in the direction he was taking the team in a face-to-face meeting with the Nets owner Joe Tsai. In the same meeting, KD went on to vocalize his dissatisfaction in the GM, Sean Marks, citing a lack of quality additions to the roster as a major problem. Last season, KD, along with Kyrie, was forced to lead a top-heavy roster that had no depth, which was drastically similar to the problem that Durant was running into in OKC with Westbrook. From the coach to the front office to roster problems, it really does sound like a lot of the same issues that forced KD out of OKC are reappearing in Brooklyn. KD did everything in his power to get out of Brooklyn this season, but to no avail. Durant lobbied hard in the offseason for a trade, but the Nets were unable to find an offer that they considered fair for Durant, who was under contract until the end of the 2024-25 season. Durant also didn't get the coaching change that he wanted, which makes you think maybe Durant is back on the burner accounts. He can't be happy with how this offseason has unfolded, and unless Ben Simmons can make a massive impact on this team, the Nets won't be a major title contender again this season. For Durant, those burner accounts are his way of venting frustrations, and he will surely have plenty of those during this upcoming season unless things improve quickly in Brooklyn. So, what do you think about KD's burner use? Does he still use burner accounts? And are there other players out there that you think are doing the same thing? Let me know in the comments down below.